alaikum, my dear students. Today we are going to discuss about the phylum mollusca. So if you take the example of the member of the phylum mollusca, then the very common example belong to this phylum is a snail. So we can mention here as an example snail actually. How this snail, which is example of the phylum mollusca, look like? So this one look like this structure. Actually, this is the shape or diagram of the animal, and this animal is known as actually snail. So we will go to discuss the general characteristics of the phylum mollusca by using this example as a general characteristics. So the first character of the phylum mollusca is the body parts, and it means what are the body parts which are involved in the formation of this body or this snail. So actually you can mention here body parts. The body of this organism actually composed of three main parts. The first part of this body is known as foot actually, and from here up to here this portion is known as foot actually. This portion is involved to hold the body with the soil. So that's why hold the body with the soil or land. So this portion is known as foot actually. So the first portion of the body is known as foot. The second portion of the body is anterior portion, and this anterior portion is related to head. So that's why we can mention here this portion is known as head. And the third portion of this body is the visceral mass. It means this whole portion of the body is known as visceral mass. It means all the body organs or visceral organs are present in this portion. So that's why this portion is known as visceral organs. The next general character of the phylum mollusca is a mantle. So I can mention here mantle. So what is a mantle actually? Mantle is the covering of, outer covering of this snail or the members of the phylum mollusca. This covering is known as mantle. This covering is known as mantle. So we can write here all the members, almost all the members of the phylum mollusca are covered by a structure which is known as mantle. So now we are going to discuss about the functions of mantles. It means what are the functions of the mantle? Actually, we know that the body of snail also is covered by calcareous material, and that calcareous material is known as shell. So this one is a calcareous material, and this calcareous material is known as shell. So we can write here this one is a shell actually. And this mantle is involved in the secretion of this shell. So we can say easily this shell is secreted by this covering, which is reddish in color. I have made reddish in color, and this reddish in color portion is known as mantle, and this mantle is involved in the formation of shell actually. So beside the shell formation, there are some other also functions of this portion which is known as mantle. So the first function is secretion of shell. Second function of this mantle is the covering of visceral body organs or a protection of body organs or of visceral organs. It is also involved in the digestion as well as excretion as well as reproduction. So we can write here it is involved in the excretion, it is involved in the reproduction, it is involved in the elimination of waste material, elimination of waste material of the body. So the next character is the circulatory system. Which type of circulatory system is present in the members of the phylum mollusca? So almost all the members of the phylum mollusca actually are having open circulatory system. So we can write here, they have open circulatory system. But there is an exception. Only the members of the one class which is known as cephalopoda, it means the members of the class cephalopoda have the closed circulatory system. So we can write here all the members having open circulatory system, but cephalopods have closed circulatory system. Closed circulatory system actually. So the next character of the phylum mollusca is that these are protostomes actually. So what are actually the organisms which are known as protostome? So when we talk about the protostome, then we have to take an example. So please stop this lecture here and try to understand about the protostome. For example, this one is a sperm and this one is an egg. When they fuse together, then the process of fertilization takes place. So as a result of fertilization, the diploid zygote or a diploid egg is produced. So when this diploid egg undergo the cleavage, then it makes the embryo actually. So when the embryo is start dividing and produce many cells, then almost when the number of cells become near to 50 or more than 50, then this stage is known as morula. And when these cells again divide and produce many cells, then the these central cells move toward the peripheral region. When the cells move from central portion to outside, then there is a portion which is empty, and this whole structure is known as blastula. This is known as blastula, and this cavity is known as blastocele. And inside the blastocele there is a pore which is formed in the blastocele or a blastula. So this pore is known as blastopore. Blastopore. So there are two types of animals. The animals whose mouth is produced first from this blastopore, such type of organisms are known as protostome. And the organism or the animals in which the anus is produced from this blastopore, such type of organisms are known as deuterostome. So I hope that you have to make your concept about the protostome as well as deuterostome. So I am writing here all the mollusks are protostomes. Protostomes. So actually what are the protostomes? Protostomes are organisms in which blastopore make the mouth first. Such type of organisms are known as protostome. So some other characteristics are also present in the protostome, such as mouth formed first from blastopore. And there is a spiral cleavage. Also the character of the protostome. So actually the trophophore for larva is also produced in the protostome. Actually, these are the characteristics of protostome, and protostome is the example of the phylum mollusca actually. So now we are going to discuss about the next character, which is a symmetry actually. So I can write here symmetry. Symmetry. So many types of symmetries are present, such as radial symmetry, such as biradial symmetry, such as pentaradial symmetry, such as bilateral symmetry. So the bilateral symmetry is the character of phylum mollusca. So we can say that all the members, almost all the members of the phylum mollusca are bilaterally symmetrical. So in the symmetry of the phylum mollusca is bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry. So we can mention here the symmetry in the phylum, members of the phylum mollusca is bilateral symmetry. So what is actually the meanings of the bilateral symmetry? When we cut the whole body into two equal parts and both the parts are the mirror images of each other, then we can say that the symmetry in the body is bilateral symmetry. So the symmetry in the phylum mollusca is bilateral symmetry. So after this we are going to discuss about the phylum or a body cavity. Phylum or body cavity. Phylum in the phylum mollusca or the members of the phylum mollusca is actually reduced and contains some systems such as circulatory system or heart, as well as excretory structures such as nephridia. These are the structures which are actually present in the small cavity, which is known as phylum. So we can write here phylum in body of mollusk is reduced and contain heart as well as nephridia, and it is also involves some other functions of the body. So we can say that the phylum of the body of the mollusk is reduced. It contains the heart as well as nephridia. Heart is involved in the circulation of the blood or a circulating fluid in the body, and nephridia are involved in the excretion of waste material which is produced as a result of metabolism.